kids have had a lot of frank discussions about hip hop and, social media and that sort of thing. But I will say one story, and twin number two is probably going to kill me, Alex. Sorry. But one time, this kid was 14 and he got in trouble in school because he asked his teacher, had he heard from this rapper that he kind of saw on like TikTok or whatever. His name was Ugly God, and he had a song called "I Beat My Meat." That was the name of the song, but he talked. I was like, "Yo, what?" And they had like a little dance that went along with it, and I beat my meat. I beat my meat. Everything, and I had like this discussion, like, "Yo, son, like, what is this?" And anyway, you imagine with the title of the song what the dance consisted of. I just remember becoming so enraged in that moment, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, "Wow, we as parents, even if we feel like we're down, we really have to really sit down." And for his punishment, I made him break down all the lyrics and say, "Is this how you want to represent yourself?" That that being said, though, as a media person yourself, how important is it for parents to be media literate? Because I see fathers sometimes don't really get to. I don't know what's going on in this TikTok, Instagram, whatever these young folks, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. Well, media literacy right now for parents is so critical, especially now that our children are at home for the pandemic. You want to make sure that you at least give them the opportunity to see what they're doing online. What are they getting into? What are they watching? Right? And you want to make sure you stay close to the proximity. You don't want to be too far from your children, leaving them alone while they're online by themselves. If they're speaking to people, who are they talking to? Did they meet them? Do you know who they are? These are things you want to make sure you look into when we're having our young people who are online right now. And it's a lot of stuff going on online. Hopefully our children right now, since they've been indoors for a whole year, hopefully they want to go outside and play double dutch or roller skate or go swimming after now that things are starting to open back up. But if they're not, make sure you are aware of what they're getting into. What are they watching? And it's okay. Like one of my sisters said earlier about consequences and choices. You really want to offer your children an opportunity to know what your schedule is for them. If you have, and again, depending on age range, right, you can always, measure the schedule you would provide for them. But it's okay to say, okay, what are you doing? Is this educational? Is this entertainment? You have, an hour to be on it or 2 hours, but make sure you monitor as a parent what they're getting into, because it's so quick that someone could come in and manipulate what they're thinking, what they're doing. And before you know it, they're out there doing something they should not be doing. So you definitely want to make sure you keep an eye on them and show some interest into what they're doing. Get on, play with them, get on the, play your PX and all those great things that daddies like to play with their kids. you know, just get on there and get on your knees, sit on the floor and really get into the game with them. Make computers fun and learning and educational and entertaining.
One of the things that I feel is very important is that our kids, as they get more involved with social media, we have to be concerned about their brand because it impacts their ability to get into schools, to get into careers. What can parents do to help their children craft a positive brand on social media?
It's so amazing that you asked that question, because one of my good friends, her daughter is actually very well known in creating her own brand. And one of the key things that I remember that happened with her is she already has such a brand of her own, because she's already a CEO of a very successful multi-million-dollar company. So having some kind of a support system and background already is very helpful. Establishing their own brand. But what's also very helpful is allow your children to want to be a part of their own growth and development in their brand. So let your children be the face of their brand. It's their company. Let them speak for their own company. Don't let it be your own. So have your children out there advocating and speaking for what it is that they enjoy doing and why they enjoy doing it. And you support them, have their back, be there 100%. But it's also very, very nice for as a push to help our children to expand their reach when we already have an established brand ourselves. So that's very helpful for our young people. I remember the platform that I come from is a media background. I published one of the first publications for men of color. And I remember as a single mother in 2012 when Trayvon Martin was murdered, that really was the pinnacle for me, that really just focused me on wanting to help improve the mindset of how young Black boys and men internalize the negative stereotypes that they see on national television. And so I remember praying to God one day and getting on my knees and saying, God, I want you to help me use my platform to help me help brothers to feel good about who they are, to know that they're wanted and needed in our community. And so God bestowed in my spirit to create a publication specifically for boys and men of color. And I remember when I was searching on Twitter and I seen BFFSN for Black Female Fatherhood Women Scholars. And it was like a breath of fresh air. It was like a sigh of relief. It was, I didn't feel alone anymore. Just to know that there was a collective group of powerful Black women who were in support of giving voice to the Black man who was, essentially isolated and forgotten. Like, we need to understand that Black women are standing up for Black men loud and proud. And it was nice to know that I wasn't alone. And so I immediately reached out. I reached out to Dr. Lemons. I wrote an enormous email to her and I said, listen, please let me be a part of this organization because it's speaking my language. We have to stand up for Black men. These negative stereotypes that we see in society is null and void and is not true. I grew up with 3 men who I called daddy, and I loved each and every one of them because each of them played a significant role in my life. And so I would not be here or know the role of a woman if it wasn't for the powerful Black men that stood beside me. So it's an honor to be a part of BFSN, BFFS, and also my sisters here.